Done.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, good day to you, wherever you may be. Welcome to this month's Filr Product Update webinar. We've got some exciting stuff for you today. In addition to Girish just going through where we are with our development plans and a bit of the roadmap side, Sabham is going to take us through some of the changes that we've got planned in 24.4 around telephone numbers being asked for external users. We've had a few requests around that, and he'll explain those when we come on to that. Mike is going to take us through a little bit on how to update Filr with ZenWorks as well, and behind the scenes, he's not here yet, but hopefully he'll join us shortly. Kyle should be answering various questions that are coming in there. But before we get on to all of that, let me just take you through one or two things that we've got on our radar as far as events that are happening. So first of all, we've got our big OpenText World event, which is taking place in Las Vegas in mid-November. That is going to go through many of our products and where we are and what our plans are for the future and so on. So if you're based in the States, it may, or indeed elsewhere, it may well be worth you attending that. What we also have in Germany, Austria and Switzerland, DAC, is a tour, much like the tour we did, was it called the Vision Tour or Fusion Tour we've done in the past, which is going to be happening on the 5th to the 14th of November this year. That's going to be coming online for the registrations in the next few weeks. And that's going to be visiting Vienna, Düsseldorf, Stuttgart, and Berlin.
May I add something to that, Robin?
Yeah, please.
So
Mike.
the official name is out, so it's not called the DACH Tour, it's called the Efficiency Tour. And the locations are already fixed. So Vienna is on the 5th, and in the same location we had last year. We changed the order a little bit because of some problems with the venues. Düsseldorf is next, which is on the 7th of November, in the same venue we had last year. Stuttgart is not really in Stuttgart, it's close to Stuttgart, and the city is called Essling. And that's a new venue, but you will see where it is on the registration side. And Berlin is on the 14th, which is also in the same venue than last year.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Mike. Certainly, last year it was a great event. And for those of you that are partners, I think, don't we have a partner day beforehand in each of those venues? Yeah, so there's a partner day first on the day before, and then customer and partner sessions on the actual day of the event. I'll just post the link to that in the chat window. It's not up there yet, just so before you tell me that it tells you coming soon or whatever it is. It should be available in the next few weeks. So keep an eye on that link. That's in the chat window now. What we also have is the TTP event coming up in early December and just touching the end of November. I know it's called the Bangalore Developer Conference. It's not for developers. It's for you to meet our developers around the products. So in Bangalore, with all the OES development teams there, the Filr development team is there, the iPrint development team is there, and development teams for many of our other products are there. So it just gives you a chance to meet those developers, as well as we're having workshops and various sessions going on around that. Let me post the link for that now. That is up and running, and I believe registration is there, though just be aware that hotel details aren't in there yet. They'll be coming along in the next day or so. So do keep an eye on that as well. So that's the link to that one there. And you have got all the sessions up and running there. I'll show you in a moment with that what we've got. But as far as file and print is concerned, on the workshops front, we've got quite a few workshops. Most of these are whole day workshops, so some are half day workshops around that. As with Filer, we've got a securing Filer workshop, which is a whole day session. And then we've got a regulatory compliance session for a half day that Girish and I will be delivering, and quite a few sessions around OES as well there. And with the session front, again, we've got quite a few sessions coming in there around file and print. So, and again, quite a few Filer sessions. So what's new in Filer, SQL reporting with Filer, which I'm regurgitating something Dietmar came up with, which I think again was based on something Mike and I came up with there. We've got file and print roadmap, so you'll see what's coming along the lines with Filer there. Deploying Filer with advanced authentication, Filer Mac client there, and again customizing the look and feel of the Filer client. So quite a few Filer sessions there, and they may well change, be added to in the future. As far as, let me just take you to that web page so you can see what we've got there and what other sessions are available. So you've got the workshops here. So quite a few IDM sessions, as well as Access Manager, ZenWorks sessions there, as well as the ones that I went through earlier. ILM sessions as well. IDM, again, more IDM. Oh, I think, yeah, Tim's doing a secure messaging gateway session as well. So quite a few bits and pieces there. And as far as the agenda is concerned, I'm not going to go through everything here. But if you go to that site, you'll see we've got quite a few sessions that are planned coming through there on not just file and print stuff, but also collaboration, ZenWorks, and some of the security side of things with Access Manager and IDM and so on, and indeed advanced authentication. So I do recommend having a look at that. And as I said, it may be called the developer conference. It's about meeting our developers, not your development teams learning how to develop for our products there. Mike, any questions come in?
I don't see so. Maybe there's some comments, Robin, but I just wanted to say that the conference hotel is also available in that link that you shared. It looks like
I don't think the link's set up to register yet, or so Peter told me about an hour ago. So okay. They may have done something in the near since then.
Quite possible, yeah.
Okay. So in which case, if there are no questions, let me pass over to Girish, who's going to do his release update.
Thank you. Thanks, Robin. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the webinar today. Before we go into what's coming next, I just wanted all of us to uh, uh, remember that the 24.3 has been out since a few months now, since July, and we have added a couple of enhancement and security updates and so on and so forth. So if you have been using any of these features and have any feedback on them, for example, if you have used the external users provisioning from an LDAP source, or if you have explored the external links, the changes there. So if you have any feedback on them, do let us know. So we will be happy to take them. So Robin, if you could go to the next slide, please. Just as a reminder, the releases are happening on a quarterly basis. So if this is going to change in the coming year in 2025, we will let you know. But at the moment, we are planning to ship 4 releases in year 2025, and these are quarterly updates that are going to be coming out in the first month of every quarter, the calendar year quarter. So the next one, which is going to be 24.4, can be expected in the month of October. We most probably towards the last week of October, we should be seeing the 24.4 update. And there are quite a few things that we are going to be including in the 24.4 release. Robin, if you could go into the next slide, please. So those that have used data leak prevention feature in Filr, we have provided ways for administrators to classify the data, and also we have showcased in the previous webinar how you can use IDOL to be integrated with Filr to automate the classification of data. And with that, you're going to be able to restrict a certain operation at the moment, being able to externally share such files, holding the sensitive information externally. So we are extending those by adding additional APIs and providing the ability to either warn or block the operations. This is going to form as a platform for extending into additional restrictions and so on and so forth in the future. And we are also going to add the ability to either require or not require phone numbers during the external user registration. This has been something that many of you have mentioned, that you either need it or not need it. You don't want to keep it optional. You know if you need it and you would want to keep it there. Otherwise, you don't want it to be there. So Shubham is going to take us through the current behavior and what's changing in the 24.4 and how that's going to help us ensure we are capturing the phone number. We are asking the phone number from the external users only when required. And apart from that, there are going to be a number of currency updates. So we are required to make quite a few updates in terms of the libraries and the SLES operating system that are part of the ecosystem. So we will be updating the Tomcat, we'll be updating Spring and so on and so forth. The Spring update is going to be a considerable amount of changes. So we will let you know if it's going to come in 24.4 or probably a little later on that, maybe 25.1. But there are a number of platform updates that's going to be included in the 24.4 as well. We are also, previously we had mentioned that we would be investigating on the integrations with the Entra ID. These are still being investigated due to other priority tasks that we have picked up now. But this would form as a base for integrations with Office 365 and also the SharePoint online data. So that's something that will be coming up in the future updates. So that's only 24.4. So I would probably not take more time than that. So unless there were any pressing questions at the moment, Robin, is there anything that we need to be?
There is a question, and maybe we answered it at one point already, why we are not going to /15 SP5 in this update. So I know the answer, but it's a question to you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thanks, Mike. That's a great question. We intend to skip the /15 SP5 and SP6 and probably go straight to /15 SP7, unless there is going to be any changes from the SUSE point of view. We would like to /15 SP7 would probably be the last SP in the /15 line, and will come with a longer support life cycle than the /15 SP5 or SP6. So at that point in time, we might probably also have a new appliance with the /15 SP7. So we will announce that soon. Any other question?
There's a question about data leak prevention in group-wise integration, so we cannot answer this question here. So we have to take that back to the group-wise team. So yeah, no more question. Or nope.
Okay, so in which case, Robin, I think.
Yeah, sorry, I was just talking to myself a moment ago. Always help if you unmute yourself. Mike, yeah, on the group-wise side, it's the group-wise team that does that development, not the Filr team. But given the new REST API calls that we've added in, then that's given them options to pick up that information. So it's something that might well be possible for them to do. I don't know, have you put it in the ideas exchange? It might be worth putting it in there. Then Eric will pick that up and be able to do something around that.
Robin, sorry, I wasn't sure if it is entirely only group-wise related, or is it to do with the links that you share of Filr in the group-wise email? And is there anything that, Kevin, are you expecting the Filr product to do when generating such email links for sensitive files that would also be either not allowed or allowed, so on and so forth? So I think there could be some possibilities within the Filr space as well, with either GroupWise or with the Outlook. I think, like Robin, I recommend that please leave your ideas in the portal. We would be reviewing them.
Yeah. Okay. If there are no more questions, let's just move on to the external user registration. Let me just change the presenter to that, make presenter. Okay, you should have presentation rights now. Yep, I can see your screen. I can't hear you at the moment.
Everyone?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about a subtle change that we have made to the external user self-registration flow. So currently, when an external user tries to register themselves after receiving an invitation in Filr, providing a phone number is optional. They can choose not to do that. They can choose to do that if they wish to. The change that I'm going to demonstrate today will allow the Filr administrator to set a per-zone configuration to change this behavior. So the new setting that we'll expose for the Filr administrator will give them 3 options to choose from. One is setting it to optional, which is the current behavior. External users upon registration may choose to provide a phone number. The other 2 options are required and not required. So require mandates an external user to provide a phone number during registration. the intention for providing this option is to enforce phone number collection for 2FA purposes. And not required is the opposite. So phone number simply would not be asked during sign up. And this option is necessitated in regions that have various regulatory compliances to follow, and they cannot ask for a piece of user information if they cannot justify absolutely needing it. So we'll see how that looks like in a minute, but for now, this setting is available under the file administration console share and comment settings. Inside that, we have a tab called external user settings. There, if you see, this is the option. So the heading is called phone number provisioning, and these are the three options that we just discussed. To an external user, if the phone number is set to optional, is what it would look like. So if you fill up the form, first name, last name, and provide a potential password and accept your TOC, then you will be able to sign up. This is the current behavior. And if you set it to required, you, in spite of filling the other form fields, you will still be asked to enter your phone number if you touch this field once. And the intent would be stated very clearly in this popover. This is required in order to receive an OTP via text message for MFA. This is the primary use case for which we might want to enforce phone number collection on extra user sign-up. And until you provide the phone number, the sign-up button won't be enabled. The opposite of this, not required, means the phone number and country code fields are simply absent from the registration form. Okay, so I'll demonstrate this. So I already have a Filr instance. So I'll go to share and comment settings and open up the third tab. I hope this is visible. I'll zoom in. So currently it's optional. So I have already shared to a potential external user, and we'll see the registration form for said user here. So at this point it's optional. So I type some values, leave the mobile number and country code fields blank, set the TOC, and I can sign up. Now, if we were to make this required and save our changes, we go back, see that our changes have been saved. We come here, we refresh, and the saved changes begin to reflect. So if I try this, it still doesn't say, it still doesn't allow me to do anything. And if I try to interact with this field and then move on, it says enter your phone number. Hereby showing that it's a requirement. And we have the popover, which clearly indicates the reason why phone numbers are required. This is done on behalf of the customer. So only after you provide your number and select a country code can you sign up. So the opposite of this is fairly straightforward. I'll go back to the admin console, click OK to save my changes, go back, changes have indeed been saved. I come here and refresh. Fields are simply not there. As soon as I fill all the remaining fields, I can sign up. Yeah, this is pretty much it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Shubham. I think there are probably some questions, Mike or Robin.
So Marcus is asking, is there a way to enforce phone numbers to be asked for existing external users on next login? I don't believe there is there?
No, not included with this change. So the new registrations will go through the administrative settings that Shubham showed. But for users that are already registered, they may not be, there is no workflow that would require them to provide or remove the phone number if they are provided based on the administrative configuration at the moment. But that's a good idea. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if there's a way in the database, you've got that field as to where they are in the registration process. If you reset that back from what 3 it is back to 1, whether it would re-ask everything, but possibly I'd need to play around with that. But that might be a way of doing it. What else have we got? Okay, so Chris is asking a similar question there, but is just asking for if you do enable it as mandatory, the user being asked only for their phone number. There. Dan's asking what MFA options are available for Filr. So Dan, if you've got Filr Advanced, you get an entitlement to something called Advanced Authentication Limited, which gives you MFA. So effectively, if you've got Filr Advanced, you've got MFA out of the box effectively there. That will give you 6 methods of authentication. Most probably the ones we see being used most out of those are SMS one-time password, email one-time password, and what's the other one, Mike? Sorry, my brain's gone dead.
Radius client?
No, you've got Radius client in there as well. Time-based one-time password.
Time-based, yeah, sorry.
And that will work with Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator as well, the time-based one. So if you've got Filr Advanced, you've got that now. If you want other things like facial recognition or to have smartphone push or geofencing, where you can say only people in the UK can authenticate or that sort of thing, then you'd need to get the full advanced authentication product to do that. And there are some videos, by the way, up on YouTube. I think I did 4 videos on how to set up from scratch advanced authentication for MFA with Filr. So if you go hunting, you'll find those there. So another question is Kevin saying, we already have the phone number already in LDAP eDirectory. Can Filr pull that information over automatically? Yes, if you set up your external users as coming from LDAP, which was a new feature that we added in 24.3, I think it was, then that will pull the phone number across and you can use that there. Okay, Chris, I think we're going to come on to your question in a moment about ZCM, but Mike will cover that. And Tom's saying something's very good. I assume the methods of MFA he's talking about there as being very good. Mike, can you see any more questions?
I cannot see any questions anymore because I share my screen.
Oh, okay.
So I think, Robert, there. I think Tom made another comment, which is interesting. Like, can we force an ISO standard on the number? I'm guessing Tom is asking about validating if the phone number meets the ISO standard. Shubham, if I'm not wrong, I guess there is some check, but I don't believe there is an ISO standard for phone numbers, isn't it?
Currently, we don't validate against a phone number standard. There exists such an ISO standard, but we don't validate it against it.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So we will review that down, but a quick check looked like there is no specific standard. Of course, there's a format, but it doesn't look like there is any specific standard. But we will look at that. I mean, from the place where I am at, we have all sorts of phone numbers. I'm not sure what standard that's being followed. So we'll figure out. Thank you.
Okay, in which case, let's move over to Mike, who's just going to cover patching of Filr with, is it ZCM you're using here, Mike?
Yes, it is. It is. That's what we do. So I saw recently a request. It was on the community page, and we also get some requests from customers who ask about that. So if it is possible to patch the Filr environments, or let's say, because it's not explicitly for Filr, it's for the appliances or whatever you want to patch, which channels we can use inside of ZenWorks. So the whole idea, or what we do here, is based on what we are already doing with Open Enterprise Server. So to get an idea what we are doing there, in the Open Enterprise Server documentation, you will find below the information automated installation configuration update for SLES and OES best practice. And there is the overview. Just we do an automated installation and configuration, and we come to that place, to this question as well. Is it possible to configure Filr using ZenWorks? And here you see that we regular automated updates, but, and that is very special, a defined set of patches. So it's not all patches, it's a defined set. So we call it frozen patch level. And this is defined also in the documentation, what it is. Now my screen is frozen. Interesting, at some point too many virtual machines. I hope it will go soon. Close some of my, come on. Yeah, so
good news, Mike.
Am I still audible? I hope so.
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Okay, so screen is frozen at the moment, but it will come back soon. So yeah, at the end, what we do is we use ZenWorks to provide, as we mentioned already with Open Enterprise servers as well, we provide JUM repositories that we can use inside of Filr. So sorry, it's back here. What do you need for that to happen and work together with /15 onwards? Because at the end, we are with Filr, the base is /15. So at the minimum, you need ZenWorks 2020 update 3 with a dedicated patch, which is the 959. The reason why is with /15, SUSE introduced Boolean dependencies, and before that version, before that field test file, it was not possible that ZenWorks could handle those, right? So therefore, it's this is a minimum. Otherwise, you have to upgrade. I use here in my environment not the latest one, but 24.3 ZenWorks. So we will see that soon. We are talking about frozen patch levels. In the documentation here, you will see that we are using two kinds of at the end, it's one frozen patch level, but two options how we get the frozen patch levels out to the devices. One is that we use a YAML repository. The second is that we use bundles and assign those bundles to the devices itself. So where's the difference between those both? The difference between those both is that with one option, we use the ZenWorks agent. With the other option, with the YAML repository, we are not using the ZenWorks agent. The part with the ZenWorks agent is only working till OES 2018. So whenever you come to /15 underneath, then you have to choose the other option, so the one with the YAML repositories. So that said, let's quickly take a look what we have to do, or how our environment looks like ZenWorks-wise, first of all. So let's start with our bundles, because that's where we will find each and everything later on. So we have, in our case, we with the whole environment here that you also can download from the documentation site and build your own environment. If you use that, you get bundle folders created, the container, the device folder created, each and every one here underneath server. You see Linux and so on, some groups and so on and so forth. Everything will be created automatically with this installation framework. But let's go back to bundles and take a look what we can see there. So here you see that I have already my OES environment in there. So 2018. Whatever. So if you go underneath 2018, you see SP3, and we go 2023, first customer shipment. And since then, we have our 23.4 and later on this year, 24.4. So, but back to, we are talking about Filr. So what I have created here is 2 folders for Filr. One for the Filr itself, and we all know that the base for the actual Filr environment is Filr 5. So we install Filr 5, and then after certain updates at the end, we are coming to the latest Filr 4.3. So I created first this folder. And same with content editor, and same here with advanced authentication. It's also possible or iPrint or whatever. And then the second thing, what we have to do is to subscribe and share on that tab here, create our subscription to download the content from the customer center at the end. So if I take a look at open text here, and you see here, I have two subscription created for Filr. One is Filr 5 updates. If I take a look at those, what I'm doing there, I'm downloading the Filr 5 updates, and I'm downloading Filr 5 OS, and I'm pushing them down to the bundle folder, bundles Linux Filr 5. I use NCS credentials to do so. You find them in your portal. Special thing that we do here, typically when you create a new subscription, it will be created here with the option create sandbox, first thing. Second thing, it will be created like this. So create Linux bundles and patches, which means each and every RPM are a bundle at the end. We changed that to something what is called here monolithic bundle, which means at the end when we run the schedule, that we replicate everything in one bundle and not in 100 or 1,000 bundles. So everything is in one bundle. And how does it look like? At the end, if we go to, I don't want to save the changes, okay. So click here. If we take a look at what's going on then, so this folder was created. These both will be created during the replication of the replication with the customer center. So when we run the schedule, and in there, we will see at the beginning only this bundle here. So Filr 5, Filr -5 -OS bundle. That's the only thing what will be created automatically. What we are doing then is we use this bundle and make a copy of it. And the end, we name it like this. So _ Filr 5 OS bundle and the date when we did it. Why we are doing that? Just because we are creating frozen patch levels. So whenever we replicate the content again, everything will be updated in this bundle here. So whenever we do another replication, this bundle will be updated. But if we assign this bundle, which is also possible as a JUM repro service to the devices, then we have always the latest information in the bundle and assigned to the devices, which is maybe not what we want. So keep in mind, today you install a new version. You are on 24.2, and if you have updated your Filr environment to 24.2, and if you now want to install and update a new appliance, what you get at the moment is 24.3. So you are not able to go to the same level that all your other devices or the whole other environment is at the moment, right? And therefore, what we do is we create frozen patch level and assign those frozen patch level to devices, which means at the end, when I patch a device, I can patch it to a status where I want to have it. So, and let's say what I did here. Let's go back here. So you see, after I copied it, I changed the description here. So it was on the 4th of September, and it was in there is the update to 24.3. So I replicated it yesterday, right? And so the greatest is 24.3. That is in the bundle. If I do it in some months, then there will be 24.4, for example. And then we can create a new frozen patch level and assign that. So the same happens here for the second one on the update side. So same behavior. So I did the same replication at the same date and added the description here. So that's what first thing we need to do in ZenWorks. Second thing is, because I don't want to assign a bundle, so maybe we have an environment where we try to test first and then bring it out to our production environment. So I can create test environments, production environments, development environment, doesn't matter. So if we, for example, quickly take a look at, let's take a look here, for example, in the updates. So you see here, there I have a test environment, production environment, development environment, and I can play with the different patch levels. So in the production environment is maybe the 27th of June, and in the production in the test environment is the latest, for example, right? So just to make that clear, what that is used for. So in Filr, back to that again. So we create bundle groups for this behavior, and to create the JUM repository on the bundle group. So to do so, and also if I create a new new patch level, for example, I don't want to do it now because then the Jump the Jump service needs some time to get updated, and we don't have the time to do so. But to assign a new member here, we just take the new date from today or from tomorrow, let's say, and put it in here, remove the other one, and after that we go to edit the Jump repository, save, and that's it. So to update the Jump repository to a new version. So that's the part on the filer side. Robin, I'm not sure if there are already questions that we could answer or take. So, if not,
sorry, Mike, this is Girish. So I think there are some questions that Emilius is asking.
Sorry, trying to unmute myself again. Maybe I shouldn't mute. So I'll let Girish take you through the questions.
Sure.
I'm just nitpicking one of that. Like I think Emilius is asking if you're gonna go show what it looks like in the 9443 port.
For sure.
The filer applies. Sure. So I'm guessing you're
sure.
gonna do that later.
For sure.
And I think Marcus says so we can eliminate SMT server and do all of that over the ZCM. So I think Mike is gonna show that. Let's see how.
There are options. So if you don't want to use ZenWorks, you don't have to use it because SMT servers still exist. And keep in mind, ZenWorks, what does ZenWorks mean? So if a device is managed by ZenWorks and Jump repository is, in that case, the device is managed by ZenWorks, then you need a license for it, right? If a customer has open workgroup suite and licensed by user, then it means 5 devices per user. Maybe it's possible, but if you license by devices and you don't have filer and you don't have devices for your filer environment, then you need to add licenses at some point, right? So it's not move to ZCM, it's an option. So how does it look like normally? And let's quickly take a look here how my system looks like. Is it freezing again? It is freezing again. No, it comes. Sounds good. Yeah. So the typical environment looks like this. So my environment at the moment was configured to use the SMT server. So if I take a look at the repositories, we see the repositories are here visible. So with what you can do typically is you can use zipper lr-e and test.repo. So you can export your assigned or used repositories. So let's take a look at the test repo. So here you see the configuration of the environment at the moment. And what I have done so far here in my existing environment, so I changed that to go to my to my ZenWorks environment. And so let's take a look about that. So here I have my ZCM repos. So for example, if I take a look at that, ZCM repos. So I changed the names, I changed the URL, and it depends how you're on which version on ZenWorks you are. So at some point your Jump repositories are based on HTTPS. If you don't have a valid certificate, in my test environment, it's like this. Then you can use this special thing here, as I said, verify, and then you have to accept once the content of the repository. But I know it's my server; everything is fine in that case. But that's how you can change the environment. So let's take a look at that, what I do here. So zipper remove service first. I only have one service that was my SMT server, SMT server. And I have two repositories, repository 1 and 2. Those are gone, are already gone. So if I take a look at zipper list services now, nothing defined, repos, nothing defined. So what to do next? I assign at my repositories, and I've checked those in the file here. So to make it easy, those are in there. Let's take a look at the same as before. So now we have here our ZenWorks environment assigned to zipper. If I do a zipper ref, then this is a question that comes up first. We accept that once because it's unsigned. It's possible to configure it at some point where we are not asking about that question, but I think to make it sure, it's better to see it once that you are aware of it, and so everything is fine. So there was an error at some point. Maybe I have, okay, doesn't matter because let's do it here, zipper nothing is defined because this is my filer one here, and that is that one. Okay, zipper ref, yes, yes. So all is good. Zipper, maybe I have a typo in the other file. Ref was done. Let's take a look again. So it's there. And let's take a look. List updates first. So we see there is a whole of updates, and now the question comes to Emilio. How does it look like in Filer 7.9? This one, come on, VA admin. So, okay, so how does it look like now? If I go to online update, I get the information because I'm not configured. I'm not configured with Customer Center. I'm not configured with the local SMT server, therefore cancel. But what we see now here is that we do not have a service configured, but we have two bundles, let's say, or two updates assigned. And if I take a look, you see that we see in the name and in the summary the bundle name. So not the bundle group, we see the bundle name. And if I take a closer look at it, then we see it's the Filer OS bundle, September. So the part that I wrote as a description inside our bundle, frozen patch level bundle, and the description is shown here. Same for the other one. And the same happens to each and every other appliance, so it's good there. So to quickly show what's going on now, let's go back to zipper lock. Okay, here's the zipper lock. So as soon, and that's the one that we can do, is update now. So I'm not using zipper patch, so I just use the console here. It's also possible to do it with zipper patch to do the update in that case. But if you want to do it here, it's also possible. So now it's running, and if we take a look at now it's coming up. Here you see that the content is coming from ZenWorks, so it's ZC, right? So the content is coming down from a ZenWorks environment, and you will shortly see that it's already it's also installing. So what I'm doing here is from 24.2.1 to 24.3. That's what the update that's happening right now. And yeah, so that's what's coming up here. As you saw till now, we do not need an agent for that, right? So we are not at all need an agent for this configuration. If we want to do some other configurations, like if we want to do, we can go back here, make it a little bit smaller. We can see both sides. If we want to do other configuration changes, for example, if we want to make sure that after upgrade our customized configuration are automatically back, or we want to manage the SSFX properties from a central point, then we need the agent for that. And at the moment, Girish, maybe you can tell something about that. So ZenWorks is supported on OES. The ZenWorks agent is supported on OES, which is /15 as before. ZenWorks agent is supported on the appliance /12 with ZenWorks itself. But at the moment on Filr, we need to discuss that. So if that is something that we can quickly say, yes, is supported. So keep in mind, Girish, maybe you can add something to that to make it clearer.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. So I think you're right. So for updating, I think there was a question as well that do you not need the agent at all? So for whatever you showed so far, I'm assuming that we did not require the agent to be installed on Filr appliance. It was through the repositories that created in the ZenWorks, which the vanilla Filr, the underlying SLES could recognize those repositories and being able to pull the updates. So there's no additional agent required to be installed or running on the Filr appliance. But as you get to do more things like push configuration changes and so on and so forth, I think SSF properties like Mike mentioned, because maybe the SSF properties, it would stick. If you update the SSF ext properties, the changes would stick. But there are a few other things like language files and few other things where style sheets that Robin goes and updates for customers, and later he will come back and say that's not sticking when you update the file server. Then you'll have to redo them. So I think having the ability to ship some configurations which you manage directly on the appliance rather than using the file server interface, the APIs, then the distribution of configuration using the ZenWorks might be useful. But we haven't actually installed or validated that on the Filr appliance. Although it looks like Mike mentioned, and also Bob, I think, is also on the call, who's also an expert in the ZenWorks area. Believe they have, from the ZenWorks point of view, have validated agent running on the appliance, but they're on an older appliance. So we would have to take a look at that and see if we can get it deployed on the Filr appliance. But if you're going to make configuration changes through that, we really don't know actually, like unless we test it, like what other things that you need to do, right? So you know for sure that like if you make updates directly on the SSF properties or any of those files, you might have to restart some services. I'm guessing that you would take care of through the ZenWorks itself. But we haven't really validated or built any workflows for you to give and say, you can do this, right? But probably ZenWorks is built for doing such things against various servers and hoping that if we can certify that agent can be installed and run on a Filr appliance, then it's up to the administrator to define what workflows that needs to be created in ZenWorks so that the changes are going to be effectively and clearly applied on the Filr appliance. So we might probably take a look at certifying the ability to install and run agent, but we are not looking at providing any workflows to suggest that, okay, you can configure Zenworks like this to make these changes and so on and so forth. We haven't done any of those testing in Filr area. Sorry, Mike, that was a long answer to your short question.
No, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. And it looks like it's nearly close to the finish. So at the end, what happens as soon as the update here is done, the update now window and the process window is gone, and the update is ready. But we do not see in that case, but I'm not sure. Robin, maybe you can help me here. If with the update from 24.2.1 to 24.3, do we need to restart a reboot? Because I didn't saw it yesterday when I did it when I did my tests. So maybe there is no reboot necessary.
And I don't know. Certainly going up to 24.4, I've been applying the patches and I get prompted to do a reboot.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. Yeah.
24.3 would include the OS updates and might probably require a reboot if I'm not wrong, but maybe I'll go back and check that, Mike. So.
Yeah. So at the end, the notification will not come. It says it's 24.3 at the end. What I did in that case, because typically when I updated Filr, I need to do a reboot. So I did it just to make sure everything works fine. So that is how you can get a closer, a small overview how to use Zenworks with Filr, or how to use Zenworks to update the Filr environment. We do not need to wait that everything is up and running because we are already 2 minutes over. I hope everything comes. Yeah. Come on. Yeah, done. Okay. So update done. So that is the window at the end. We do not have any updates anymore. If I go to the home screen here, I see 24.3. What I did yesterday, just reboot the system to make sure that every update, because there was a kernel update and so on and so forth, that those are correct. And after the reboot, correct, done. So that is what you have to do. For the next, let's say, update that comes up, the only thing you have to do is go into the subscribe and share, run again the schedule, and after the schedule, copy the default bundle to the new date, make your description, assign that to the bundle group, remove the old one from the bundle group and edit the jump repro, and then you are done. You can go back to the Filr appliance and see that there are new updates with the new bundle names. So thank you very much for joining. I hope it was good to see. And if you have more questions, don't hesitate to contact me directly. Emilio, as you mentioned, we can have a session as well. Yeah, Robin, back to you. Thanks.
Okay, well, thanks, Mike. That was very interesting. So I suppose all it's left for me to do is just say goodbye. Thank you very much for attending, and hopefully we'll see you again next month. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.